Okay, so first I'm going to clean my beaters. I'm going to take all the pieces off. I'm going to spray them under the water here. I'm going to take these off. I'm going to make sure I spray in there real good. And then I'm going to spray both sides of this, especially in the crevices. Things really tend to build up under there. When it's all said and done, it should look like this. I got all my crevices, it's nice and shiny. My blades are nice and clean. And you want to make sure, be careful when doing it because they are sharp. Run your finger along. Make sure there's no grooves or bumps in it. That doesn't allow it to scrape it off the sides of the barrel and you'll get a beater overload. So next what I'll do is I'm going to take apart my pump. I remove the pin. I pull off the end. And then I need to get out the little rubber gasket here. One way to do that is to spray it out. Sometimes it doesn't come out. You can use the pin to just gently lift it up. And I'm going to make sure I spray both sides of it, spray inside all the holes, and make sure it's very clean. When it's done, it should look like this. I can see all my holes. I don't have any buildup anywhere. It's very clean. Same with my gasket. Now next for the pump, everything inside the pump goes in and out the side with the groove, also known as the flat side. You can see here it's flat. I'm going to push everything out, and it will sometimes squirt out because it is the pump. And I'm going to take a look at everything. I'm going to spray it. Now, one thing you really want to focus when cleaning this one is that this silver hole, you can see daylight through it. That's your air control. If you're not getting any air, you're not getting any pumping. It will cause your machine to go down. Another thing you want to pay attention to is this around here. All this gray will come right off. But again, if you're feeling grooves or anything, you want to talk about getting new ones. The gaskets tend to break often on the pump because it is pressurized. So if your gasket breaks, refer to the manual, and there's usually extras in the pump kit in the office. So we're going to make sure we spray the inside of this out very well. Oftentimes we'll have to use our Taylor brush to scrub the inside of that. Next what we're going to do is we're going to spray our pump shaft. We got some grease buildup on the ends, and we really want to get into that crevasse there. Make sure we spray that real good. And sometimes we like to pull the gasket off this and make sure we get in there. Clean pump shaft, we're gonna have, it's gonna look something like that. See how there's no buildup underneath the gasket? We've moved it, there's no grease buildup. So that's what it should look like. Next is gonna be our actual shaft, the beater shaft. See how we have a lot of grease buildup? That comes right off. Now sometimes you'll need a rag to get it because it's a little in there, but that comes right off. Next what we'll do is we'll squeeze this guy and he comes off. We'll spray the shaft down real good, and we actually flip this inside out, spray it because there's a lot of grease buildup in there. And then what we do is we flip it back right side out with this middle rubber indent facing out. That's how they go back on. Lastly, what we'll do is we'll quick take apart the face. So first we'll pull the pin, we'll pull out all our handles, and that one's stuck because it's got some buildup, so we'll make sure we spray them all real well. Next what we'll do is we'll pull our air release valves. Now again, with the gaskets, we want to make sure we really get in there because these have to hold back air, so we need to make sure they're very well cleaned. Then what we'll do is we'll pull the 3 flavor sticks out. These are the ones that release your product. One of the easier ways to get these out is to pull off each individual, and these should come off for cleaning anyways. Red indentation, they make the ice cream look good. So then we can just push these right through. And again, we want to make sure we're getting under our gaskets right there. They hold a lot of stuff. So we'll push all those out. This is your middle one. Notice it's different than these. This one takes vanilla and chocolate. So we want to make sure this one's always in the middle. We're gonna spray those real well, getting under the gasket. Then on the back of the faceplate, get our little sushi rolls here, spray those real well. And one thing that everyone forgets about is the faceplate gaskets. They're a little tricky to get off sometimes, but we need to make sure we remove those, spray them down, and spray in the tract of them. We could see some milk build up, milk stone. That's a problem, that'll cause leaks. So we need to make sure we take them out, spray them real well. We'll show you what it looks like when it's done. All right, so we sprayed off all the parts. Now we're gonna put them back together so then we can sanitize the machine. So I'm gonna grab my lube, and I'm gonna first I'm gonna do my shaft. I like to build from the bottom up. So I've got my shaft here, and I got my O-ring, dent facing out. I'm gonna put it on. And then I'm gonna put a few dots of this lube on the shaft itself. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pack it in there. So I like to just run my finger around and it just goes in no problem. Then I'm gonna put this down here, right on in straight. Listen for a little catch. You'll feel it, and then just to double check, try to twist it left and right, and you won't be able to. So again, I'll put the other shaft in. I've already packed my lube in here, and I'm just gonna go straight back. And I feel it take, quick twist, it's good, let's keep going. So now I'm gonna build my beaters. Now, I'll show you how to build the beater, but one thing to make sure we line up is this hole. We wanna line up with the shaft end down there. So that one's up and down, so I'm gonna put this one up and down. Right on in, I'm holding my blades because they like to fall right off. And in just like that, they won't twist, they're flush. So now we're gonna put this one together. So I've got my beater. I'm gonna take my blades, get those ready. And I've got my end pieces. Now my end pieces go on the spiral end. They have little indents to match here. So I'm gonna put this on here, and they are side specific. So this fits well, it's not hanging over. If you notice that you have a gap here, you have some plastic hanging off, switch them, you put the wrong one on. Then with our blades, we just lay it in like this, and it flops right down, locks into place, and I'm gonna hold it. I'm gonna do the same on the other one. Right on in, flop down, and now I'm gonna see where this lines up with my shaft. So that one's sideways, I'm gonna put it in at a slant. I'm holding my blades, and it's right on in, flush. So next, going bottom up, I'm gonna do my faceplate, the faceplate. So what I'll do first is these gaskets that go here that are really hard to see. Take just a little bit of lube and I run them through, right over and right around, just like that. Do the same one for the other one. Just like that. Next, what I'll do is I get my sushi rolls, big end flush with the bottom. Big end flush with the bottom. And what these do is they help the pressure from the barrel find its way to the dispersion holes. Then what I'll do is I'm gonna start working my way with the top. So I'm gonna take a little bit of lube, put it on each gasket, just a little, to seal my air holes. So I get both of those. And I put them in. Now I like to put a little lube on the edge of my tray because if I keep handling this, I'll get lube all over. I won't be able to squeeze it. It's nasty. It's something else to clean. The tray's already getting clean, so I just keep a little bit on the side. Next, I'm gonna do my draws, the draw sticks. A little bit of lube on each one. Notice this is where the handles will go through. So I need to make sure they're going straight in at this angle so I can still stick my handles in. I like to go I know that needs to go lower. I like to leave it just a little higher so I can play with it. It's harder to bring it up than it is to push it down. A little more lube on this one. Now these like to break a lot, so we like to make sure we're not jamming it in. We're just gonna gently push, and if it doesn't wanna go all the way, see that buildup right here? How that's bending? We're gonna pull it back a little and try again. And usually the second or third time it'll go in no problem. We're gonna leave it a little higher, and we'll do the same one for our third drawbar. Straight forward. It doesn't want to go, so I'm going to pull it back out. A little more lube on it. And boom, in no problem. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in my handles. So I take this, and the handles always go adjustable side down. So I stick it in, and I know I have to come way down. I try to get it through the hole. Boom. That's all set. See how we go up and down? Now we want the adjustable side on the bottom, so that way if we want to slow the rate of letting the ice cream out, we just spin the screw either way, and it won't let us go as far. So that'll change our draw rate. So I'm gonna keep going with the handles right in the middle, push down a little, get it all set. And then what I wanna do is I wanna bring these all the way to the top. And you'll see why, but I wanna bring them all the way up. So I'm gonna do my last one, all the way through. And then down here, I'm all the way through. I wanna lock this in place. Now it can't come out. So that's locked. So I have these all pushed all the way up. I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna lean it back so I don't lose any parts. And I'm gonna go into the machine like this, and it goes right on. Now, had I not brought my handles all the way up, had I left them, they're gonna catch on the actual, these paddles are what causes the machine to release the ice cream. They'll catch and I can't get in. So that's why I always push my handles all the way up, because they go on no problem. Now next what I'll do is I'm gonna put on my screws. Now if you ever put on a tire, we do it diagonal here just like a tire. Longer screws on the top, shorter screws on the bottom. The longer screws are long enough to get past this stuff. So I'm gonna do this one first, then I'll do the bottom, this one, and then down here.